All right, peace and blessings, everybody. This is BroYosef. I'm back with another video. In this video here, I want to talk about UFOs, and I want to touch slightly on extraterrestrials. Okay. Now, this is a video I said I would never really do, but after doing a few consultations and people emailing me about extraterrestrials, I figured I just better get my own perspective on what it is. So that's what I want to do in this video. To start the video out, I want you guys to really understand what extraterrestrials are. Okay. Now, extraterrestrials, meaning extra or above or beyond terrestrial or terra, which is Earth. So, an extraterrestrial is an entity that's beyond our planet. They're not from this planet. Okay. Interterrestrial is a entity that lives in terra. Terra meaning Earth. They live in terra. They live in the Earth. So we do have interterrestrials. Okay. So then you have terrestrials, which are humans or anybody that lives on the surface. Okay. So you have terrestrials, which are humans. You have extraterrestrials, which are entities that come from beyond Earth. Then you have interterrestrials, which are entities that come from beyond, that come from the inner Earth. The inner Earth. So when I talk about beyond Earth as far as extraterrestrials go, I'm not really talking about out there in space. I'm talking about another dimension. And that's really what people need to understand. We're talking about a whole nother dimension here. So extraterrestrials, they carry a frequency that is astral. Okay. For those who can feel and understand and notice when astral energy is around, they're astral entities, and astral means star. So they're star entities, they're star beings, So these energies don't carry the same frequency as a god or as a angel or a demon or anything like that. Now you do have extraterrestrials that work with angels, and you do have angels that look like aliens, right? You do have angels that look like gray-headed grays, and they're really tall and they have wings. They look like, we think, because we're so egotistical as humans, we think that everything is like us and the most perfect design is human. That's not true. Then you have some extraterrestrials that are demonic, like, they work with demons and they're demonic. All right. So that's how this thing works. And so when you're dealing with extraterrestrials or aliens, you're talking about a fourth dimensional astral energy. I just want you guys to really understand that, right? We're not just talking about something that just comes from outer space. We're talking about something that exists in a whole nother frequency, a whole nother reality, a whole nother dimension. All right. Astral energy. That's what these things are. Okay. That's very important to understand to start this video out, so you guys know what I mean by extraterrestrials. Even the interterrestrials, the ones that live inside the Earth, they also carry an astral energy frequency. And the reason why they can live inside the Earth is because the deeper you go inside the planet, the frequency changes. All right. You need a certain body to actually live in a planet. And there's pretty much time is totally different on the inside of the planet. Okay. So yes, you have a lot of immortal groups, immortal societies that live inside the planet. Okay. They live inside the Earth and they stay down there, and they choose to live there for certain reasons. Sometimes you have mystical, magical schools that are also inside the Earth, right? People hear about Shambhala and different things like that. These are real places. And you can call these entities extraterrestrials because some of them do live down there. But you also have human-looking entities that live inside planet Earth. And all of these groups are interterrestrials, okay? So now that you guys understand that, which is very important, I want you guys to understand that we live in a world where, 90% of what we're told is a lie. And you have some spiritual people out here in this world who claim to be metaphysical and spiritual, and they don't believe in aliens, And then some of them don't even believe in gods. Everything is a formula in the spirit. Everything is a formula. And it's true. Things are formulas, And I'm not talking down on these people. I'm just being honest. Like, things there, you can look at certain entities as formulas, but at the same time, they have a consciousness. That's something that people have to understand. These energies have a consciousness, which means that if they have a consciousness, they have a body. That's a fact. Okay, they have a body, and being that being that that's the case, if we're going to be spiritual, we just can't bring them down to, if you want to work at these energies at their full potential, you must deal with them as a personality, okay, and as a consciousness. All right, just a word of advice. But with that being said, you'll have some people also that they don't believe in extraterrestrials or aliens. And it's not an important topic, to be honest with you, but it's part of the whole metaphysical thing, because you live in a world ran by extraterrestrials, whether you believe it or not. The great Dr. Delbert Blair talked about that a lot. This world being ran by extraterrestrials, and he's 100% right. He's 100% right. And for a long time, it was hard for me to believe. But, for me, what I do is, before I deny something, I try to have an experience with it to see if it's real or if it works. Some people claim to be metaphysical and they just deny it right away. But they got to understand that's the ego that does that. The first thing you must do is, if you think something's not real, then prove it to yourself. Okay? Prove it to yourself. All right? So if you can do that, prove it to yourself. That's the best thing for you to do. Extraterrestrials are very real, and it's funny because while I'm doing this video, I have eyes to see. I can see with my third eye. There's actually somebody standing right here. You know what I'm saying? There's actually somebody standing right here. And it just caught my attention. Standing right on the side of me over here. But and I can actually feel their energy, and it's kind of distracting me. But with that being said, I want you guys to really understand, extraterrestrials are real. And as a metaphysician, you need to study and you need to understand these things so that you guys can have the information and be prepared just in case. Because one day, all of this stuff is going to be revealed. Aliens are going to be revealed. And as a metaphysician, if you never studied them, you don't know what to look out for. Because if you don't know about them, they may not be revealed in this life while you're alive, but your grandchildren may have to deal with them. Okay? Your great-grandchildren may see them. I'm pretty much sure my grandchildren will see extraterrestrials. They'll be part of society. I'm pretty sure about that. So, with that being said, I want you guys to understand that some things are just not spooky, right? Some people call things spooky, and it's not that it's spooky. Spooky means scared. If you get spooked out by something, you're scared of it. Some people say, "Oh, you talking spookism?" I'm not talking fear. I'm not talking scary stuff. I'm talking facts. I've been hit with that before. People say, "Oh, that's spookism." Well, I don't understand. What do you mean? You're claiming to be metaphysical. Why is something spooky to you? Everything is science. Depending on what level of science you're talking about it from. All right, that's a fact. So. With that being said, I wanted you guys to just understand first and foremost that, this stuff here, this extraterrestrial stuff is real, and you guys need to understand you're dealing with the astral energy, okay? An astral energy. And it's very important that you guys tap into this stuff and understand it and research it so you can understand. Now, what's happening also is a lot of you are going to sleep at night, and you're waking up at 2:22 in the morning, 1:11 in the morning, 5:55 in the morning, 3:33 in the morning. You're waking up at just a random time like 4:15 or 6:12 in the morning. You're waking up at random times in the morning. And what I want you guys to understand is that when you see that happening, you keep waking up week after week or maybe a couple of days in a row at the same time, you're actually being abducted, right? Your physical body is not being taken, but your consciousness and your astral body is being taken. And for those who know, we know that the astral body works like this. Whatever you do to the astral, it works with it happens to the physical body, right? So for those who know about voodoo, when you're doing a spell and you can attach something to somebody, what you're really trying to do is you attach it to their spirit or their astral body. And once you attach it to them, it can manifest into their physical body, right? That's how it works, and it's not really hard if a person understands how the science works. It's not really hard. So, it's funny because sometimes a person, you got to be careful who you talk to, man, who you try to say something crazy to, because, a person could say something, a smart comment, right? And what people don't know is that if I was the old me, just because you don't have a picture on your YouTube page and you write a smart comment, it doesn't mean that I can't touch you. Because you need to understand everything has an energy signature. I'm a more laid back, nice person now, and I don't try to hurt people or do nothing wrong. But people need to understand how this astral energy works. Like I can still, everything you do leaves an energy signature. You had to still use your energy to create that fake page to write a bad comment, right? So when you do that, if I was still walking on a certain path, I could just touch you. I could still touch you. Certain magicians know how to do that because you leave an energy signature. So for people out there leaving, I'm not saying people doing that on my page, but for people out there leaving bad comments and negative comments on spiritual people page, be careful. Because some people don't have mercy, right? And they don't play those type of games, right? And next thing you know, you might be dying of cancer because you wrote something disrespectful on somebody's page and you think somebody can't touch you because you don't got no picture. And, but real magicians know how to tap into people's energy signatures. That's something I can do. I've done it in the past. You can write something on Facebook disrespectful with no picture, it don't make a difference. You had to use your energy to create that page. All right. So, and I guess I could use that as a warning for future people that try to be disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? But you guys need to understand that's how it works in voodoo and a lot of rituals. Like once you attach something to somebody's energy, right? It's over. Like once you attach it, you can do whatever you want to do with that person. That's how that works. So these entities and these extraterrestrials, they take your astral body and they do things to your astral body. Right? They can put computer chips and different things in your astral body and it manifests in your physical body eventually. That's how it works. And the computer chips and stuff they put in your body is so advanced, it look like a piece of skin or a piece of flesh. Right? They got computer chips that's so thin that it could look like a piece of your skin and they can put it right in your skin. You wouldn't even know. You wouldn't even know. I had an experience one time where people who was telling me they were my ancestors and they were my family, they got coming to me while I was laying on this couch, this comfortable couch. And the couch had no arms on each side. I was just laying straight down. And I was comfortable. And they was feeding me grapes. But they kept holding my arm, like doing something to my arm. They was rubbing it. And they was pointing at it. And they was talking to other people. Like, hey, yeah, And they started talking the language I never heard before. And the next morning, and they was smiling at me, letting me know everything was okay. And then I'm just sitting there enjoying myself. And then all of a sudden, I woke up that morning and my whole arm, that area was hurting. Not in pain, but it was like sore. Like somebody hit me with like a stick or something right on my arm. And after a couple hours, the pain went away, And I know what that was. They upgraded me. And this is what's happening to a lot of you guys. You wake up at night and you got just a sore spot. Not the whole arm ain't sore or elbow or your hand ain't sore. It's a little tiny spot that's sore. And you remember that day you woke up at 4:44 in the morning. Or you woke up at 3:15 like you've been doing for the past week, or that's because you're being upgraded. Your conscience, they're helping you raise your consciousness. All right, this is what they're doing, and this is what I was told that is being done. And I've heard other teachers talk about the same thing, that's being done, and that's exactly what's happening. So all of you who have these dreams and these experiences when you wake up at the same time at night and you're laying on a couch or a table and there's people smiling at you, or sometimes people just see people working on them. You're being abducted, okay? And then sometimes I have experiences where they just take me on a ride, like I'll just be on a ship, right? I went on this one ship one time where my astral body came out of my body, and there was a tall man, a black man. He had to be about maybe 8-9 feet tall. He's really tall. He had on a trench coat, and he was waiting for me, like on my roof, And he was just like, "Come on, man, we gonna go get in a ship." And I'm like, "What ship?" And I look up. And I couldn't even see the sky. It was like a ship that was covering the whole, like I didn't even know how big the ship was. It was just covering the whole sky. But there's like a square opening, and there was like helicopters and different people. These entities was flying people into this hole. And when we got in there, everybody was just standing around in this like open space. And when you touched the wall turned green, and all these letters that I never seen before popped up. It's like the wall reacted to you. And every time it will be a black wall, but as soon as you touch it, it's like green letters and green energy would just pop up out the wall. And I remember the ship was so big until when you look up in the sky, the ship had clouds in it, man. The ship had clouds in it. That's how big this ship was. It had its own clouds. It's like it's had its own atmosphere. And we're just standing around and these people are just talking to us, asking us questions, and then I remember just waking up, you know. So I've seen things like that, really advanced technology. I've seen ships and talked to ships that were alive, that had its own consciousness. I'm talking about a living ship, like a spaceship. I've seen that. So, you know, these things are real. And I just want you guys to understand that, what's happening to you when you're waking up at these times, okay? So we talked about extraterrestrials and what type of energy and what they are. And we talked about what's happening to people when they're waking up. Next thing I want to do is talk about UFOs. UFOs are really just materials that are not from this world, okay? The government has their own UFOs, that's a fact. They have their own ships, but they're nothing as advanced as real extraterrestrial ships that come from a fourth dimension. We have our own metals here on this planet. We have our own materials. We have our own minerals and things like that. But there's other planets and other frequencies in other dimensions that also have their own metals. And that's what you're experiencing. These ships are made out of metals that can morph and change frequency and change shape because they're designed to go into different dimensions. Right? These ships can time travel. These ships can go into the quantum world. These ships can go into the future, the past, whatever, and they can go into the third dimension, right? Whenever they come to the third dimension, they're going to be made out of light. They have to transform their ships into light because of the frequency. Light is the only thing that can go into any dimension, right, and not be affected in any kind of way. So they must transform their ships into a light ship. So this is why sometimes from a fourth dimensional perspective, they'll come down to a third dimension, and they will take their ships will transform into light. And sometimes you'll see a UFO and it look like it's changing shapes as it's moving, or it'll always be glowing some type of color. Now, when you see them made out of 100% metal, yes, that's true. That's always the government, because the government can't make no light ships. They have metal ships, right? So this is what's happening with that. So that's what that is when these extraterrestrials come down here. Now, I want to share with you guys a couple of experiences I had with UFOs. The first one was I was driving home in 2010 from getting some food. And as I'm coming back, I remember I left my phone at home. And as I'm driving down this long street, I see this orange circle in the sky. And I'm like, wow, the moon is really orange tonight. And I remember as I got closer to it, the circle itself ended up turning into a oval shape. And I was like, wow, why does the moon look so weird tonight? As I got close to it, I actually saw like lines in this oval shape, and I saw like a door, like a big overhead door. Like it was a structure. I saw it. It was like a ship, So the doors looked really weird, but I knew this was a ship. So all this time, I'm like, yo, I've never seen a UFO. This is my first time seeing one, and it's sitting right in the sky. So I'd never forget my phone. But this particular night, I forgot my phone, and then here it is. It's almost like it knew that I was going to forget my phone. In 2000, so that had to be 2009. So 2009 was the first time I actually saw a UFO. All right. And it blew my mind. It totally blew my mind. And I remember other people were just sitting there driving, and it's like they didn't even see it. And it's sitting in the sky, right? This thing had to be probably 2 miles long. It was long as hell. And I remember this Chinese guy was driving behind me, and he pulled over, because I pulled over blowing my horn, pointing to the sky. Yo, they here. I was bugging out. And this Chinese dude pulled up behind me. He was like, yo, man. I was like, yo, do you see that, man? He was like, yeah, I see it. What is it? I said, I don't know. So we're talking for about 2 or 3 minutes. When we keep looking back at this thing in the sky, and out of nowhere, just like somebody waved their hand across it, it just disappeared in the thin air. I don't know if it cloaked itself or it actually disappeared. It was crazy. It was crazy, totally crazy. So that was my first UFO experience. And from that point forward, I took my wife to see her first UFO in 2011. After her making fun of me, I literally talked to the sky, and a white ship came out of the sky. It looped in a circle and shot back into space, and she was blown away by that. And me and her has been seeing UFOs ever since then, now to the point where it's not even a big deal. It's like, oh yeah, it's a UFO. Yeah, that's right there. We just know, you know. And to this day, this orange ship follows me around, you know. Sometimes I'm driving, I look up and it's just there. It could be broad daylight, you know, blue sky and an orange light in the sky. I see it all the time. Sometimes I'm asleep at night and I know it's over my house. I can feel it, you know. And sometimes when I feel like that, I know they're gonna take me tonight. They're gonna take me somewhere, you know. So yeah, this is a real thing that happens, and UFOs are real, and extraterrestrials are real, and you guys, that's a branch of metaphysics that you guys need to study, just for the hell of it, just so you guys will know and be prepared and understand what you're dealing with. All right, so I recommend you guys studying that. Another experience I had was me and my wife driving from Walmart, and the same orange ship came through the clouds. A circle opened up in the clouds, and this thing came to the clouds, through the clouds. And we're sitting at a red light, and this thing probably came down as low as probably a 3-story building. That's how low it came. And we was just totally blown away. Oh my God. And we just knew everybody next to us in the car saw it. Nobody saw it. Nobody said nothing. We're sitting there like, yo, like, what's going on? Like, and it was moving. And it was changing shapes. It was moving like this. It was pulsating, and then it stayed in a oval shape, and it moved, and then all of a sudden the oval shape got longer, like a rubber band, and it stretched, and like a rubber band, it's like shot through the sky, right? It shot through the sky. So that's my experience with UFOs, and I've had tons of. It's too many to tell on this video, right? Too many to tell. So I want you guys to study that stuff. But this is just my experience with it. And I hope this video really help you guys understand what this is about, because this is something you're going to need to know, because as we go deeper into this world, as the frequency raises in this world, we're going to interact with fourth dimensional entities, which we're already doing. We're just not aware of it. You know, earlier in the video, I said I felt somebody standing here, and I can tell they're pretty much, their energy signature is still there, but I could tell they're pretty much gone. I don't feel them anymore. Yeah, it's funny. It's one of my first videos doing a video with the light off, and that happens. So I want you guys to study that stuff. In your dreams, you're gonna start seeing UFOs a lot. The more you study UFOs, some people who write books about UFOs are actually chosen to write books about UFOs, because yes, you do have some people that are star seeds down here, right? You do have star seeds down here. And they're literally children of extraterrestrials that are put down here to help humanity, help mankind. So the reason why I don't get really deep into extraterrestrial information, because it doesn't evolve you. I'm into evolution. I'm into growth. And if you stay stuck on the fourth dimension, which everybody goes to when they die, you know, why would I stay stuck on that type of information? Like, it's low-level information. It's dope to learn about and study, because some people in the third dimension have not even experienced that. So I would definitely say study it, and, you know, try some of the techniques to meet these extraterrestrials, and you'll be surprised. And I believe everybody's connected to some type of star family, right? But some people are specifically put down here for that, to help humanity by using, by way of their star family. Okay, so I just want to get on here, do this video, and just explain, you know, from my perspective, what extraterrestrials are, and also what UFOs are. All right, and I really hope this video helped you guys, and I hope you enjoyed it. And all right, and I'll talk to you in the next video. Coming soon. Peace.